What's up guys, it's Kaisan here and welcome back to a Path of Exile tutorial. To start the episode out, we have a couple of things to talk about. First of all, as I showed you the last time, I found an item with... I actually switched it back, now I have my main weapon that I'm using again. So since I don't really need this one, I want to sell it, and there's something special about selling items that have +1 to socketed gems. Uh, if you find an item like that, you should sell it to the vendor, because if you sell it, you get an alchemy shard. And to put it a bit in perspective, in terms of value, so obviously we need 20 shards for an alchemy, and we also need 20 shards, alteration shards, to make an alteration. So in terms of value, one alchemy is roughly the same as 8 orb of alteration, and that means that this one alchemy shard is roughly the same as 8 alteration shards. So it's quite valuable in terms of an item that you can sell to the vendor. And obviously you get the vendor recipe. So those shards we want to keep and collect, and if we get 20 together we get another alchemy, which is pretty nice. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. The second thing is that now that we got our apart from weapon elemental that we bought, we got the first support gem from one of the quests that we did. We can try and use one. So here we have our main attack, Spectral Throw, and I already switched the gems around so that we have a green link right here. So we can use Spectral Throw, and you can see right now I don't have anything on queue. If I put it in, I have it there. Let's go out here. I want to show you guys with the aura what the difference is. So once we get into the area, my PC is a bit slow, so the loading times are sometimes a bit annoying. Okay, so now we can activate Wrath, and with the aura we get the additional lightning damage for our attack. So right now we are at roughly 40 DPS. And if we use cold damage, let's look at the mana cost as well. It's 40 damage per second and 7 mana. And now we put this support gem in, and now we have roughly 44 and 9 mana. So both of it increases. And also it gives us some sort of utility in a sense, because the cold damage makes it so that you can chill enemies, you can freeze them, and if enemies are frozen, that's a way to get rid of their corpses as well. So it's overall really good. Now the one thing that I wanted to mention as well is that you see that something is linked to your attack, because in the upper left corner right here you can see a C, and I don't know which stands for which, but pretty much every single support gem has a certain letter or a certain sign, and you can see if we take it out, the C is gone, and otherwise you have it there. So that's how you can see how many things you have linked to your main attack. And yeah, with that we are even stronger now. Now another thing I wanted to mention are resistances, and for that we'll open our character screen and go into defenses, and you can see right now we have 43% fire resistance, 6% cold resistance, and 25% lightning resistance. And obviously by changing around gear with resist on it, or in this case rings, we can improve one and it might lower the other. So for example, I have a fire resist here. If I switch this, then we have more cold, less fire. For most of the game, up until this point, it was not very important because not a lot of monsters would even deal elemental damage. But now it slowly starts that you have to prepare yourself for the area that you want to go in, and you kind of have to know, ideally in advance, what you're up against and what type of resistance you should have maxed out, or at least as high as possible. When I say maxed out, I mean the maximum amount that you can go with the resistance is 75%. There are ways to go over 75, but we'll talk about those ways once we maybe get a passive node or something that is connected to this. So in general, 75% of any resistance is the maximum you can have in terms of defense against that against the elemental attack. And you can see that we're not even close with what we have right now. Now the zone that we will go in next, which is, if we go on U, is Merveil's Caverns, and basically all the way to Merveil, which is the first boss. Well, we fought Brutus, but she is the act boss, so she is the big boss in this act. What we need in terms of resistances to make it there is, and to kill her as well, is especially cold resistance and also fire resistance, especially on the way to get there. So what that means is, I don't know if we can get rid of this ring. Yeah, we actually cannot. If we could get rid of this ring, which sadly we cannot, I would probably use a fire resistance ring to just increase our fire. It would, because there's lightning resistance on here, it would lower our lightning resistance, but I don't really care about this because I know that we won't really encounter too much lightning damage. But as it is, I definitely value cold higher than fire, and I think as they are right now, we should be fine. We have to be a bit careful, but yeah, we should be fine. Okay, one last thing in town is that Elrion wants to talk to us, and that was basically because we did the last quest with him and he leveled up to 2. So now his gear that he's selling changed, and as you can see, as at level 1 he only sold blue items, and now he has one also unidentified rare item. As I said before, I would not I would not recommend you guys buying any of this, just because I personally think that it's too expensive. So, but it's up to you. If you want to spend your currency, go ahead. I won't do it. Alright, let's get into action. Just as a reminder, since you leveled up to level 15, it is usually a good idea to go to the vendor and just have a look if there's anything interesting on here. For example, you could find a potential upgrade for a belt, or maybe, you know, maybe there's a really good ring on here. For example, this intelligence amulet has a decent nice roll, a decent life roll. Or yeah, apart from that, there's not really anything here.
Still alive, are we?
If we go into our inventory, you could systematically look for certain things by looking at the gear that you have right now and seeing what does something like they only sell magic items. So what does that item have to actually be an upgrade to what I'm wearing right now? For my weapon, it might be pretty tricky. So let's say this one. The things that we really need, there's basically only one. We only need the life. Life regen is nice, dexterity is nice, but we don't necessarily need it. So the only thing on here that is really good is the life. And even the life roll is kind of low, so you could go in here and you could just specifically look for headpieces and see if there's anything interesting on here, which there is not. If we look at our gloves, you can see the lightning damage is not doing anything for us. The increased evasion rating. Oh, I don't think I have mentioned this, but if an item has increased armor, increased evasion, increased energy shield on it, that does not mean that all of your evasion from the entirety, like from all of your gear basically, is increased by, in this case, 24%. That's not the case. Only the evasion for this particular item is increased. I remember that I was making that mistake when I started out. So here, that basically just means that I think initially it was 11 evasion rating that's on the item was increased by 24%, so now it's 14. So going back to interesting stats on the item, here we have life and fire resistance, and both of them they're alright, but they could be better. So you could have a look and see if there's a magic item on here, which there's not. With boots it's a bit trickier to find an upgrade because you want to have the movement speed ideally, so that's already one item or one attribute that you will most likely already have on the one that you're wearing right now. On this one there's not really a second one that we necessarily need. Again, rarity is nice, life regen is nice, but they're not necessary. So you could potentially find an upgrade here, but we're out of luck. There's not much going on here. For example, if you look at the chest, you can see that that's not really something that we can easily improve on from looking at the vendor, because we have 3 different resistances on there. And mana is also, it's nice, life would be better, but we have 3 resistances on there, and there's no way you can get 3 resistances on a magic item. You can only get 1. So we will, I would say 99%, we will not find something better than this. Alright, so I just wanted to mention, check the vendor again if you have one particular piece of gear that is really bad, and you might be able to find an upgrade. Alright, so here we have the first mobs. We have those spitters as well. The singing siren that you see here, this is actually what she just did was a melee attack. Yep, this one. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it deals damage to you. I think it is cold damage. And then you have these, this other attack. Oh, Elemental Trinity? Huh, what's that? I want to have a look. Okay, if you get an achievement, you just have to click H and have a look at it. Mercy killing was Brutus. Get away from me. And Trinity, where is it? Here. Slay an enemy that is simultaneously ignited, shocked, and frozen. Okay. So that basically means completely destroy an enemy. Alright, I think we talked about these ones, or a similar one, when we were talking about the area boss in the upper submerged passage. So this is Freezing Pulse, same as the boss had. So, yeah, nothing more about those thingies here. We can just kill them. Did I get rid of my single target attack? Where did I put that? Double strike. Okay. I guess I might need that, so let's get it back. I think that was everything here. Oh, okay, we have some buccaneers here as well. You guys have seen them before, so same with the bowman. With the I'm punctured right now, so there's not really a lot of surprising new enemies in this area. Alright, so we found the area boss. If there's monsters around, you can see that the area boss is there by the aura that you see around the bowman right now. Let's get rid of the bowman. And Amarissa, daughter of Merveil, is the name of the boss. And I guess we can call her she. She uses Spark if you're at a distance, and if you get into melee range, she uses this, which is a melee attack called Lightning Strike. and both Spark and Lightning Strike deal lightning damage. And Lightning Strike deals an initial hit to your character, and then you can see that there's some sort of an AoE component as well with the lightning streams that go out. Obviously, since this is lightning damage, you can be shocked, so you have to be a bit careful and pay attention to the upper left corner of your screen and see that if you get shocked by any of this, you just retreat for a second, and if you don't take any damage for a couple of seconds, the shock will just go away. So you can then go back in and attack some more. And you'll eventually bring her down. She's not really hard. I just wanted to introduce Lightning Strike especially as a skill. Okay, we found the entrance to the next area, which is the Cavern of Anger. And in terms of layout for this first area, you can see that I always went to the left, like I basically hugged the western wall, and that easily led me to the entrance to this new area. I will do exactly the same in the Cavern of Anger. Now, in here, we have something similar to the slimy bloodsuckers that you've seen before. So these sirens, oh, here we go. Those are the ones. Unstable larva. And with these you have to be a bit careful, because once they come up to you, they just explode right in your face. So either destroy them before they come too close, or just try to avoid them, because you can just run up to them and then run away, and they will be triggered, so they will explode. This is a bit more dangerous, I'd say, because they might still hit you, but if you're quick enough, maybe even with using your Quicksilver flask, you can evade most of the damage coming. Oh, nice. Alright, so we just ran into Elrion. And now you can see there's a relic here. A relic here. Before you start this quest, you always, especially Elrion, you want to clear out the immediate surroundings, because otherwise you have even more monsters to fight off. So we have one here, one here. I don't think there's anything up here. Nope, just exploders. And one here. And that means this is a different type of quest from Elrion. If it's just the one relic in the middle, then it is about defending the relic. If you have 3, or I don't know if I have seen 4, but yeah, it's usually 3 relics that are a bit away from Elrion, and he's basically in the center, then it is about destroying them. So let's just talk to him.
I'm in the mood for some smiting. How about you,
Sure,
Exile?
always in the mood for
Sadly,
smiting.
this holy site has fallen
So
to the corrupted
he's
old
basically
ways.
telling you that,
It's our
this is
duty
all
to put the
corruption,
poor, blasted place out of its misery.
and there's twisted
The
spots,
corrupted
and
draw
that's
strength
basically
from
this.
twisted spots
So
like
once
this, you see.
you stop talking to him, this will start, and you have a certain time frame in which you have to destroy these thingies here. And while you're trying to do this, you have monsters spawning from these portals to make it a bit harder. Otherwise it would just be, I mean, I'm using yeah, it's probably better to use some single target damage here. Just gonna get rid of some of the monsters, and then we'll kill this thing. And once you do, this burst comes out and destroys, all the rest of the monsters. So you don't really have to be careful around the last one. Everything will die once you destroy it. We leveled Decoy Totem, that's nice. Now let's talk to him. He's still level 2, but we're getting closer to level 3. One thing that I didn't mention about these exploding larvae is that they deal fire damage, so keep that in mind when you go in here, and look at especially in Cavern of Anger, look at your fire resist. It should be fairly high. Hey guys, I'm recording this actually after I already killed Merveil. I forgot to introduce the area boss of Cavern of Anger. So that's the the mob that I'm currently looking at or looking for. But on the way there, also in Cavern of Anger, I found another strongbox, and this one is rare. So what we want to do is we want to use a wisdom scroll on it and see what it's all about. So as usual, it is guarded by 3 packs of monsters, and if you saw the video about the first strongbox that we encountered, you will know that you have to go to it and click it to activate it, and then you have all the monsters spawning. And once you kill all of them, it will open and you will get the items inside. So in this one, we have two, I think it's 2 suffixes and 3, no, 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes, something like that. What I'm getting at is there's 2 stats that are good for us. The first one is contains 4 additional magic items, and the second one is contained items have 10% quality. This is especially important if you find a strongbox with gems in them. Quality gems are quite valuable. So the other stats, it revives nearby dead monsters. So let's, for example, say, oh, I actually have some corpses right here. I killed 2 or 3 monsters here. Now, if I open this, those will be revived. I don't know what the radius is, but if you would kill a lot of mobs around this strongbox before opening it, you would have some trouble because all of them come back to life. It is guarded by a stream of monsters. That means that not all of the monsters spawn at once, so some of them come later on. You know, every second or so another monster pops out, and explodes means that after I think a second or two there will be an explosion around this strongbox. But you can easily avoid this as long as you're not frozen in place or something like that. So this is not too hard. Now let's open it. So you basically click on it, you open it, and then you try to get away. And you can see these ones were revived. And we're just gonna be careful and just kill one after the other. There's not many left.
My mana is gone.
Oh, I need mana. Some up here. These should be the last ones. Oh, we're missing one. Oh, up here, okay. Come down here, because I want to show you guys the loot explosion with 4 additional magic items as well. Here we go. So, that's pretty good. All of them, as was on there as well, are superior. All of them have 10 quality. So this one with 10 is actually really good for your recipes, because you need 40, so you basically just need 4 of those items, and you don't even have to count it up. It's really easy. And we got an armor scrap as well, so this was definitely profitable to do. Okay, and here we found the zone boss, Ambrosia, daughter of Merveil. So same skin as the one before, and she uses 2 main skills. The firestorm you can easily see. It's an area of effect. Oh, here we go. Yeah, every time you encounter her in the same area that she spawns, there's some other monsters that are hidden, and only if you run over them they get out of their burrows. So you have the firestorm that you kind of have to evade, especially if your fire resist is low, and you also have the bolts that she fires, and this one is a fireball actually, with a support gem as well. So it's fireball with a support gem that is called lesser multiple projectiles, which means that you fire 3 of them instead of 1. Every single one deals less damage, but you have 3 attacks at the same time. So you would just try to avoid the damage right there, just walk around her, and that's it. Now once you get to an area where you see this sparkly stuff here, basically, you know, some gold lying around all over the floor, that's the area uh, that's very close to Merveil's lair. So that's where you should go. We got a level up, so we just gonna put one more skill point in dexterity up here. And now Merveil's lair is where we will find the act boss. Before you go in, you know, you should check again your especially cold resist, 34 in my case. That's okay. I've done this fight numerous times, so I know exactly how much damage I can take and what I have to avoid. So let's go in. And you can see this. Okay, you can't see it at this point, but let's go around the room. This is one big room, and once you get too close to Merveil, she will start attacking you. The first thing that she does is this... oh, we already have two. Okay. So the first thing is this stream of ice that comes towards you. This actually deals quite a bit of damage. Then she summons... The second thing is she summons some sort of... something similar than Firestorm, but it is an ice storm that just hails down on you. Another thing is that she summons these swords that will come and attack you. So these three things are the things that will, you know, basically her attacks at the start. What you should do is just try to move, attack and move to not get hit by her ice attack, and she will also teleport around, as you can see here. So from time to time she will teleport back and forth. Now I think right around the time when we get her to half health, maybe even a bit lower, she will start summoning statues as well. Let's see if she does that. I kind of want to wait for her to at least spawn one. So there she moved again. She will summon statues, and she will not really stop summoning them. So the longer you take to defeat her, and this is the first form, I have to say. So the longer it takes you to defeat this first form, the more statues, I don't know where the statues are, the more statues she will spawn. And those statues are very slow, but they hit quite hard. I'm really surprised she's not spawning any. Well, I told you guys, so if she spawns any while you are fighting her, you know to look out for the statues. You can kind of run around them because they're so slow, but if she spawns a couple of them and they, you know, start hitting down on you, they deal quite a bit of damage. Now let's finish off the first form without dying, ideally. Yeah, that was pretty much all of her damage coming in at the same time. Now once you defeat the first form, she changes into her second form, which is the Twisted. And here a lot of things happen. She spawns a lot of these brood larvae, which we've seen before. No big deal, just, you know, just melee monsters. It's actually good that she spawns them, because by killing those thingies you can refill your flasks, so that's good. And as you can see, there's I guess it's supposed to be hot water coming out. If you stand there, it will continuously deal damage to you. So you kind of want to be on the move all the time to evade some damage. And she also has energy shield, as you can see. That's like the white line. The red is her health and the white is energy shield. So if you're not continuously dealing damage to her, she will just recharge energy shield. I can show you. There you go. See? It started to recharge. So you kind of have to here and there deal some damage to her to interrupt it. Now, right around 50% health, Merveil will spawn 2 summons. It should be right around here. Really? This is weird. Like this fight, she's doing nothing. That's so strange. Usually there's 2 spawns. Maybe that's not the case in normal? I don't know. I'm really perplexed right here. So that's why I'm kind of, this is taking a bit longer because I'm trying to figure out why things are not happening as I thought they would be happening. Anyway, alright, so there's nothing happening, so let's just end this fight. Uh, she has the same melee attack with the scream as well as her daughters. And here we go. Once you kill her, you get the achievement, Star of Ray class, and she drops a bit of loot. And then if you go over here, you can see that an opening to the southern forest is created. And this basically leads you into Act 2. While watching the footage of the Merveil fight, I realized that I was talking about the spawns. So the second form of Merveil, at roughly 50%, there will be 2 spawns. She will summon 2 creatures that, you know, are a bit smaller than her, but basically look exactly the same. And I didn't really say anything about them. I just wanted to add that one of them does fire damage and the other one does lightning damage. The fire damage one is using a skill that is called Molten Strike, and it's a melee gem, so the fire one will try to melee you. And the lightning one, I'm not quite sure what skill that is, but it is ranged. So the lightning one will just shoot lightning missiles towards you. They have lower HP than Merveil, so you have 2 options. You can either decide to focus them down first, if they actually deal quite a bit of damage to you. If you don't really care about them, you can just focus Merveil and just finish her off. If she dies, then both her spawns die as well. On the other side, you will find a waypoint right after you come out. So you can go back to town. Once you click on the waypoint, you can see that the world screen has changed a bit now, so you can go back and forth between Act 1 and 2. So at any point in time, you can always go back to the acts that you already fulfilled and already went through. Now, everybody wants to talk to you, but there's not really a, which I think is weird, there's not really a reward for killing the act boss. I don't know what Grinding Gear Games was thinking about that, but it's kind of strange in my mind. Now, we found some quality flasks along the way, and we actually have enough to sell them now. So I can talk a bit more about quality in general and flasks in particular. If you find any quality items, which can be flasks, which can be weapons, which can be armor as well, they have a certain amount of quality on them. And it goes from 5 is the minimum amount, to 20%. So you can see this 8, 10, 18, so this is close to 20. If you find an item that has 20% quality on it, a white item, you can sell it to the vendor directly as it is. And for a piece of armor, you will get an armor scrap. For a 20% white quality weapon, you will get an item that we have not found yet, which is called a blacksmith's whetstone. And if you find a white 20 quality flask, you will get an item that we will see just in a second, because we will get it with this as well. Now, if it's not 20% quality, then the rules change a bit, because then it's not about just adding up the quality here until you hit 20. That's not enough anymore. You have to go to 40, so you have to double it. So in our case, we probably have enough weapons so we could do this. What I'm always trying to do is hit exactly 40. I mean, I could I could take 13% here, I could take 14%, 10, and anything else, and I would hit it. But I would lose some of the value because I would go over 40. So everything that goes over 40 is lost. So that's why for the flasks here, I have a 16 and a 15, so that adds up to 31. And then I have a 9, so that's a perfect 40. And you wanna try to, maximize your value, which means you always want to try to
Be
get
careful.
exactly 40. Now you can sell this to the vendor. You can see for without the recipe, if you don't put everything in, the white item just gives you a scroll fragment, and the unidentified magic item gives you the 2 transmutation shards. We already went through that. If you put in the last one, it changes to a glassblower's bauble, and this one improves the quality of a flask. So this will become important in endgame when you wanna get ideal flasks for your build. So, and if you don't need as many as you collect throughout the game, then you can always sell them to somebody else. Alright, so we're gonna accept this. That's a new vendor recipe. And we will put this in here. Alright. I actually had a look at the quality weapons that we collected along the way again, and realized that we have a 40 right here. So if we trade this in, that's 13, 18, 30, 40. We will get the item that I was talking about, Blacksmith's Whetstone. So this is another currency item, which improves the quality of a weapon. Alright, so if we get this, one thing that I just wanted to make clear is that they all work in the same way. So on a white item, on a white weapon, if you use this one, you get 5% quality, 5% quality here on a white armor, and 5% quality on a white flask here. And we already talked about if it's magic, then it's only 2% quality. If it's rare, then it's only 1% quality. This mechanic works for all 3 of them. Now, since we finally got our first blacksmith whetstone, I can actually show you guys another recipe that is very useful at the beginning of the game if you are using weapons, so if you are attacking and if you're not going for spells. So basically what you need for this recipe is you need any kind of white weapon. Obviously it should be a weapon that you want to use. So it doesn't have to be a two-hander, it could be a one-handed sword, it could be an axe or a mace, it doesn't really matter. And then you need one of these whetstones, and you need a rustic sash. I have 2 here because I want to show you a difference between different sashes. So if you put these 3 in, you can see that you get a magic item out of it. You get 36% increased physical damage on this. And if you compare it with the weapon that you had before, this was 17 to 28, and this is 23 to 38. So this is quite a significant damage increase. Sockets are not shown because the links and sockets on the initial item will be re-rolled. So whatever, if we accept this, the sockets that we get are randomized. So the one important thing here that I want to highlight as well is it depends, the rarity of the sash is important for this recipe. Right now you can see I have 36% increased physical damage. If I get rid of the white one and instead use this really shitty magic one, it almost doubles. The increased physical damage goes up to 60. So that's why, especially at the start of the game, you should save your rustic sashes, especially if they're magic or rare. Rare is even better. I don't have a rare one, so I can't show you, but this physical damage value would go even higher. And that makes it possible for you to get a very easy weapon upgrade. If you're struggling with your damage, you can just I am level 16 right now, so you know, the zone that I'm running, I could look for something that has a similar base, is maybe requires level 15 or 16, and then I can use this recipe to get a pretty good weapon for this point in time. Obviously, if you use this recipe, you should use an orb of augmentation to get a second sorry, to get a second attribute on the item. In that case, it would be a suffix. And yeah, so this is really good when you start out. I'm not doing it right now because this is level 12 base and I'm level 16 already. So I guess that I will get a weapon upgrade relatively soon. If I don't, I will just pick up any white item with a higher base and do this recipe. You don't have to worry about the links or sockets on the item, the white item that you pick up, because it will be rerolled anyway. Alright, so that's another very important recipe. Oh, I realized the mistake that I was making. I think it was earlier this episode when I was talking about buying things off the vendor and what stats were actually good on our character. And I looked at this one and said the 1 to 5 lightning doesn't do anything. That's actually not correct. When I was back in another episode talking about the 1 to 5 not doing anything, I was talking about spells. But since we have an attack, you know, we use mainly Spectral Throw, which is an attack. The 1 to 5 lightning damage actually does something for us. It means damage. So I just wanted to clarify that that was not the right thing to say. I just realized that while looking at this here, where there's 3 damage mods on it, which is actually quite a bit. They're not high, but this should definitely be a damage increase for us, and there's also a resistance on here. So if we would change these two, we would lose some life, but we would probably gain some more damage. It's a higher resistance roll. It's 17 compared to 11. And also it's more evasion, so I think it's worthwhile. Also, it has 3 sockets and 2 of them linked, so there's quite a few upsides here. This is 37 right now. If we put this on, it's 41. Yeah, so let's use this one. Okay, let's get going again. So this is the start of Act 2, and we were told that we should look for the encampment and find the encampment. So we've already seen these swarmers. They don't really have any cryomancer. Okay, they don't really have any special attacks, just the melee. Kind of want to see what this is. Shatter 5 monsters with a single action. Oh yeah, that tells you that you're getting stronger. There's blood apes, so little monkeys here that attack you. Same for them. Not really any particular attacks, they just attack you. The only thing about them is that there's a lot of them, so the only thing you have to be careful about here is, you know, try to run in a way that they ideally cannot surround you, because if you're surrounded and they just a single attack from them is not really damaging, but if all of them, you know, surround you and attack you at the same time, it might get tricky. Alright, let's open this chest. There's nothing special. Let's keep on going. And then there's these blood chieftains, so the bigger apes, and they summon apes from trees. You can see they have some sort of a howl, and if they scream, then that basically attracts other apes. I think there's actually a limit to how often they can do it and how often they get you know, other apes to come down from these trees. But yeah, just keep that in mind. We'll just pick up the superior item here. By the way, you don't really have to pick up the superior items if you don't want to. Since I'm taking it really slow with this tutorial, that's what I'm doing, but if you want to play a bit faster, then the superior items and most of the blue items that I pick up, it's not really necessary. you should still pick up rare items and identify them. Even if they're not something that you can use yourself, you can always get some alteration shards off them, so that's usually a good idea, but yeah. Alright, I wanted to show you one more. Here, yeah, you can see how many apes there are. So if you just stand here, they will surround you, and you can see that at some point they will start dealing significant damage to you, so just be careful in here. Alright, and if you kill some of the little ones, then the other ones will first run away, and then once they, you know, decide, you know, whatever, he killed some of us, we can still attack him, they will just come back. There's one more. There's one more enemy in here usually, and that's I don't really see it right now. That's a spitter. I think because we have the carrion swarmer in here, we won't see the other one. So that's what I was talking about in terms of what kind of monsters you encounter in an area is somewhat random. So we won't see them, but another type of enemy that you could potentially encounter in here is some sort of a snake, and these snakes shoot at you, and they shoot. The damage that they deal is chaos damage, so they can hurt quite a bit. If you go into defenses, you can see that you have a chaos resistance as well, and if you don't have any chaos resistance on your gear, then this tends to be 0 in normal difficulty. So they hurt quite a bit. Just be careful that you don't get hit by too many, and you should be fine. And here we go, we found the forest encampment, and this will actually be the end of this episode. Just loading into this, having a short look around, and then we'll end it right here. So you can see here is, you know, other people in this town. As in the first town, this is basically the same. It's a safe zone with other players who are playing right now, also running around in here. Here you can see somebody, oh, level 60 actually, with a lot of, this guy spent some money on aesthetic effects, you know, the weapon and the wings, and I think the armor as well. So you can make your character really nice, and if you're really into this, I don't want to hold you back from it, because Grinding Gear Games made a great game, and if you want to support them, please do. So I'm just gonna get all the quests here right now, and you can see you have 4 people to talk to here, and Yina and Groist are the 2 vendors in here. So what you could do, you know, because you just got here, you could go on here and just quickly check if there's maybe some form of upgrade. I think we were talking about the items that we had before. For example, our headpiece is pretty weak. We can see if we can find an upgrade here. Doesn't really look like it. Or
Hello.
looking for better rings on here. Nothing really that I can see right now. What's this? Nope. Yeah, there's nothing good on here. Alright, so we're just gonna end the episode right here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You managed to go through the entire Act 1. We killed Merveil, and now if you go on the world map, you can see with the quests that we just saw, you can already see how many different zones we will have to go through here on both sides, and that also tells you something about this is not really one direction only. I will talk a bit more about this in the next episode. So for now, please give this video a like if you enjoyed what you saw, if you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe to the channel if you want to support me. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys for the next episode.